Welcome on in, everybody. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Hope everybody's doing fantastic out there. And do your boy a favor, huh? Subscribe here, get a notification, hit that bell notification every time we go live. We have a new video go up and post. And subscribe to the WQAM YouTube page as well. You can watch Tobin and Leroy every single weekday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And actually, as a decide, if you guys are watching this on a Monday night, on Tuesday on the show, we are giving away opening night tickets every hour of the show. So good reason for you guys to tune in live. Only, try and win the tickets if you can go. If you're watching us in, Slovenia right now or Serbia or one of our Australian viewers, I don't think you're going to make it here by Wednesday, dude. So, but I don't want to put it past you. Either way, giving a pair of tickets to opening night every single hour of the show on Tuesday. So check that on out, everybody. I wanted to get to a couple things here. So already did a video. We talked about the Bradley Beal thing. If you guys missed that, tune in. Posted that one earlier today. But Pat Riley did an interview, a fantastic interview, with Anthony Chang. Anthony did a great job with this little piece of writing that he put together, and Pat Riley had some interesting stuff, man. I mean, really, I think a couple of things that stood out in a big way from where they are going into this year, where they are at right now as far as the team is concerned, where they are at as far as running it back. And this is a weird day. It was interesting that this article comes out the same day that whole Bradley Beal thing does, and then the team has to put out basically a statement that's saying, it was the no trade clause. So Pat, in this article, had this quote at the end of things where he talked about the abyss. And I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. I was just like, this feels very much like there's no obstacles. Well, there are tons of them, but there are none. And this is one of those things where it feels like only Pat Riley really knows what Pat Riley is saying. One of those keep the main thing the main things. And this is his doozy. And I almost feel like this is going to be the rallying cry of the year. And this is what he has to say about the abyss. And Anthony does this great article. I don't want to spoil the whole thing, but if you guys haven't seen it or haven't read it, excuse me, Anthony is talking about the eras of Heat basketball and how most of them are generally around the term of 4 years, and if not, then simply thereafter. Usually things like Zoe and Timmy was like a 6-year run, never got to the finals, but it had run its course. Shaq and Wade, Big Three, and talking about this being the 5th year of Jimmy, Bam, and Tyler. And it's not all apples to apples, and you could poke holes in the other side because, Bam and Tyler are much younger than Jimmy Butler as far as, Wade and the Big Three. They were all kind of the same age, and, same thing with Timmy and Zoe, being in that kind of era. So it's not apples to apples, but I thought it was a very interesting point and part from Anthony, and also the part of Jimmy Butler's age and how much at his age can he lead you to a championship. We're already seeing a guy like Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry was a starting point guard on a championship team. We've seen the drop-off from Kyle Lowry since he has been a part of the Miami Heat. Different build, obviously, because Jimmy's a lot bigger and certainly just looks in still just peak condition. And I do think that he and the Heat do have down to a science on how many games he does miss in a regular season. They do maintenance program without calling it a maintenance program. They're very smart about limiting the minutes to get him ready to be unleashed in the playoffs. But it was a very interesting thing from Anthony, but I want to read a couple of quotes from it. So Pat said this: "We're in the 5th year. Jimmy is anxious. We're anxious. But you get to the point where does it run its course? Not Jimmy, but does the team run its course?" Anthony writes, "That'll be a question that is answered on the court in the coming months as the 5th season of this Heat era unfolds." Pat, the article closes, quote, "When it comes to the championship window, we're at the abyss. I don't mean that in any kind of ill manner other than what it is. When you come to the abyss, you got to get to the other side. And I think that's Goosey's. I think it is. I think that's Goosey's. What does he mean? What? Huh? I think it's Goosey's, what he's saying. We're at the abyss. We're at the abyss. So, throw in the abyss. A deep or seemingly bottomless chasm. A wide or profound difference in people or gulf. Or the regions of hell conceived as a bottomless pit. That doesn't sound great. I think if you're in, if we're in if the championship window is the abyss, is he saying that it's bottomless as in the window has no end? Is that what he means? But they have to get to the other side. And if there is no end, how do you get to the other side? Especially if there's a giant Serbian on the other side who seems to have better passing skills than Magic Johnson. How does one get onto the other side of that? It is an interesting question. But Pat Riley, listen, he always wants to make you use that noodle about what he's saying. And I don't really know what he's saying other than I think that every time that you start these things and start these journeys, it's always a long journey. It's always you're staring off into the endlessness that is the season, and it is a long journey. And you're talking about going from October to June if you're doing what you set out to do. It is a very, very long time and a lot of basketball. I will say, there was one interesting thing that I want to point out in this piece. And again, just go read it. Anthony Chang, great job by him. But it was interesting to me that he called out almost to a degree because it was talked about in this article. He talked about the idea of not going after everybody and not giving in all their assets, and that he had said in this that, that they were very careful about the idea of not giving up everything. And he said that the terms that they were very reluctant to give up all of our assets in any kind of discussions with anybody, that they didn't want to go all in. Then you have this whole thing that Bradley Beal comes out, and that they didn't even want to go kind of in on that. But I found the interesting part, especially concretely with this team, to be the idea that he is asking and, putting it out there that Bam and Tyler have to step up. That he says, quote, everybody's going to go and put that out there, but there is some truth to that when asked about Butler's age, creating a heightened sense of urgency. Quote, that's why it's time for Bam and Tyler to really step up, which they can. We need the performances that are unexpected from other players and timely performances during the season. But it shouldn't be any kind of, warning to Butler or any team that if you don't get this done this year, the whole thing is going to go into the incinerator. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking to add to this. And then he also says on the other stepping up, I don't know who it's going to be, Bam or Tyler. Somebody is going to be a 25-point game scorer, and we need that. Somebody else is going to have to be in the 20s, 19 or 21, but we need those three guys, Butler, Adebayo, and Herro, to play at a level and play together as much as they can for us to have a great regular season and a great playoff run. They're all capable. I've seen some signs of Bam and Tyler in the preseason that I really like. And it is interesting. And look, this is where you get to the point of, Bam has talked a lot about the idea that he's going to be the vocal step-up guy. And that's great. I mean, that is definitely, even though Udonis hasn't was at practice today, he's going to be around. But the team needing that more vocal leader to be the guy who is, talking at the center of the circle, who is, I would say that Bam is, in a lot of ways, the mouthpiece of the team publicly because he always talks. Jimmy talks to media, but he doesn't talk always. Bam will always talk to the media if they ask him. Where Jimmy won't. Jimmy will, I wouldn't say he never does it, but if they need a couple minutes and they need a star of the team to talk, Bam's going to talk. So there is an element to he's going to be the public voice of the team, especially during the regular season. Tyler is going into a year where there is certainly not only a step up, but there's a lot for him to prove. And, Tyler, there was a great piece by Wes Goldberg, our guy from Locked On Heat. Go watch the boys, him and David Rubio. But Wes did a piece for The Ringer. And Tyler was talking about the idea that, he thinks he has the potential to possibly be the best scorer in the league. And look, all of this stuff gets settled. The Dame stuff, the Beal stuff, all of it, the James Harden fodder, all of it gets settled with those guys stepping up. It does, especially in the playoffs, especially for Tyler in the playoffs, because, yes, he can go and he can have an exciting regular season, and I think we know the simple mathematics of it. We've talked about it, and the Heat have been liking a lot of the signs of that. But, yeah, certainly, if he's there for them and he can be the type of killer, assassin that he is at the end of games in the regular season, if he could be that in the playoffs, hell, man, we're not having so many worries or concerns. You could put a lot of that stuff to bed, and then you're talking about a 20, going on 24-year-old in the middle of this season on a rocket ship to stardom. Just like we all thought that he was going to be when he was in the bubble. But you have that, and then from Bam's standpoint, yeah, you can always get more out of him because we know that he's regarded by his franchise as probably the best defender in the league. But yeah, there are those times of like, what are the other elements he can unlock as an offensive player? And it's more so than just, hey, you can go hit a couple threes. It's about, can he put his head down on nights that guys are down, and can he carry them? We've seen it. We've seen it in certain games for sure. I think that he answered the bell in this postseason even better than he did in the previous postseason for sure. But it's always going to be a big ask for him because, and on Jimmy, because you're asking these guys to not only be your best defenders, but to be your best offensive players as well. And that's why they need the relief, especially from Boy Wonder and whatever else anybody can provide. But very interesting stuff from Pat Riley. The abyss, dude. I mean, like we are going to get across the abyss. I mean, it went from the oceans with the harpoon. We've put the harpoons away. They are gone. There are no more harpoons. There are no more whales. All that there is in our boat together, staring into the abyss. And where the winds take us together on a ship, not after whales, but only after what else you do in a ship. You are pirates looking after gold and treasure. That, my friends, is getting to the other side of the abyss.